Ambitions is a rider.
Hey,
What's going on, fellas? You know what it is. New episode series starting right here. What do we call this one? The Dragon's Den, the Geeks and the Dragons, something like that. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go, EP1. Mason Jones, what's up, bro? You didn't watch the pay-per-view last night?
Nah, I wasn't going up for that stuff, and my dodgy Fire Stick is down at the moment, so I wasn't paying a pay-per-view just to watch some of those fights. To be fair, like to be fair, if you look at the card, there was some unbelievable fights. Um, like look at Paddy. Do you know what I mean? That's performance of his career so far, and he's had some crazy performances so far. Then there was that fight. Obviously, the Luke Riley fight was crazy. Logan Kavanagh obviously didn't get the result he wanted, but what a performance! And yeah, there was some really good ones.
Yeah, I mean, you honestly didn't miss much, right? The co-main and main event lasted like a combined minute and a half. But
Yeah.
definitely wanted your take on those. You know, they're all lightweights. I know the main event went at 70, but dude, everyone's talking about Connor and just how that ended. Man, it left such a sour taste in everybody's mouth, you know? Like, you think it was just his time is just gone, or you think that, what was your thoughts on that?
So this week, I didn't think he was actually going to fight. I thought he was going to pull out, mainly because there was the whole thing where he cancelled the after party. There was the whole thing where he hadn't done much of the embedded stuff, and there was something else where they reckon it was rumored that he had like driven out of Vegas to a clinic for something and different things. So I don't know. I like. I would love to say that that was an injured Conor McGregor going in there, and then he tried following the game plan, throw some flashy kicks, and his knee's just gone. But again, if you are dealing with a knee injury, and you're, as we Welsh like to say, cutching a knee injury, then you wouldn't exactly go out and throw a 360, especially the way he threw it. It was very good. And then to land back on your feet on unstable ground, kick again, and then have the knee buckle under you is it was just a weird thing to do.
yeah,
It was weird.
what a weird way to open the fight. It was just such a I was in shock for about I couldn't imagine these people paying thousands and thousands. I mean, I was upset just watching it, but the people there, oh my God, paying thousands of dollars to just watch that within the first, oh my God, it was terrible.
But even if you look at it before, like look at the Robert Whitaker fight, like he was having difficulty on the canvas. He was wiping his feet constantly. You've seen like in Cage Warriors before, like Joanny Scott, fellas like that. They've had instances where they've struggled with like the canvas feeling weird on the feet. Maybe it was something like that. Canvas was off that night too, and just because he landed so awkward too, and he always starts out like that. He always starts out with some fucking flying shit. Like you get me? It's just so weird the way he landed, and
So
obviously it kind of ruined it. But
Cage Warriors, they don't fight on a canvas; they fight on a vinyl replacement. That's why it gets slippery with a little bit of blood or fluid. The UFC canvas, is literally it is like sandpaper. Every single time I fought, whether it's been Apex, whether it's been UFC Abu Dhabi, London, Paris, they're always like sandpaper canvases. Obviously, when you start getting sweat into it, especially when you see people kick, you still get that a bit of fluid and sweat retention under the feet. So that's when you see them wiping their feet. But for Connor to come out dry and start slipping like that, yeah, I think that's more to do with sort of muscular structure than it is to do with the vinyl or the canvas.
Yeah, no, that
You,
makes a lot of
you think
sense.
anyone think he's gonna come back or no? Let's say it's a meniscus injury and not a ligament injury. You think he comes back?
Why?
That's what I'm saying too. Why would he? But I
Not
just
so
feel
much
like
why would he, but I think at this point now, like Dana's even after the Dustin Poirier fight, Dana sort of had a lot of love for Conor, whereas I think that sort of dried up in the last performance where they did the whole thing and the sales, and it just burns the card because the card had been it was very good, like the whole cards leading up to that point, but it does ruin it. Do you know what I mean? Like you want a satisfying conclusion. You don't really want to go in there. Um, and for it to just end in an injury, especially when people are straight away they're like, "Oh no, he was injured before." That it takes away from the company. It does. And Connor, like He's getting close to 40 now. He's got the money there. He's got the back in. Just stop. Just
Yeah.
stop. Like there is always something else you can do, and it's just not necessary. And I just think at the minute he's just not so much taken away from his own legacy, because obviously Connor's legacy's been beyond tainted with everything. It's as bad as John Jones's, but like Ireland especially, I know I got a lot of friends who train and go back for Ireland, and from what I've seen, like Connor's reputation is
Yeah.
low, very low.
Mate,
Yeah.
mate, they've got posters over here of Max Holloway in the local pubs. Like yeah, he's not well too liked at the minute, especially
I
everything
think
that's
he's
going on.
100% gonna come back because I heard that he has one fight left on his contract, and I think he's a sicko, bro. I think he wants the bare knuckle box. Like I think he wants one more fight, and then he's gonna start doing that crazy stuff, man.
You don't
That's
think
what I
it's
was gonna ask you guys. If you thought he was gonna maybe pivot into bare knuckle. He's mentioned it before, but yeah, I mean he's got one fight left on his contract, like you said, Mason. I don't see him getting it done before he's 40. I mean, he's going to need to recover for this, depending on what the injury is, and by the time he steps back into the octagon, he's probably going to be 40 years old. So it's tough, man, to wait 5 years. Everyone waiting 5 years just to see it, and then bang. I mean, yeah, it's
Unless
crazy.
he unless he does fight Michael Chandler.
Perfect sense now. It makes perfect
You know what
sense.
I mean? Because who else is there? Neither of them are in the rankings. Michael Chandler give up 3 years of his life waiting for the corner fight, and there's no one really else. And for me, it just takes away, because like I was never a big Connor fan, but you can't say that, and you can with a straight face say that at the start he didn't, like the whole Mystic Mac era didn't contribute to the sport massively. Like he did more for the sport than Ronda Rousey did, and there wouldn't be a women's division if there wasn't a Ronda Rousey there. So I don't know. For me, it's just he did so much, and then it just after the Floyd Mayweather fight, everything just went downhill. Like I would much prefer them to refer him as an ex UFC fighter, alcoholic, and all this stuff, film star, doing all this stuff, than him be labeled an active UFC fighter who's going out and getting rape allegations and all this stuff leveled against him. It just doesn't look good.
Yeah.
No. No, I mean, and that's really like I guess we could talk about Patty real quick. I mean, these guys are, in your sights, right? I mean, I guess we can get it to your
Oh, it's
matchup as well. I mean, we just had Medeiros announced. That's pretty sick. We haven't talked to you since that came out. You want to tell us a little bit
no.
about, how that phone call was it kind of like any options, or this is just the guy, and what does this stylistically look like for you?
So I've actually found out I was fighting uh him. I'm not gonna try and butcher his name, because my roommate went to a A1 combat event with my new T-shirts that haven't come out yet, but I tested the US delivery. Sorry,
Bless
pardon.
you.
I tested the delivery for the US side through him, so he wore it to A1 combat, and he said some guy was giving him dirty looks in one of the change rooms. And I was like, how do you know Mason Jones? And so he went into the whole conversation. He's like, oh, I've just been offered him by the UFC to fight him. So he actually rang me, and that was the first I'd heard of the fight, mainly because the UFC don't tend to offer me fights unless the other opponent has agreed, because I never say no. And I know everyone says they never say no, but I literally never say no. So they were pushing for a top 15 from what I know. Everyone was either booked, busy, or injured. And like I've had this conversation so many times, because I wanted someone I wanted someone inside the top 15. And the only people really who were coming off losses were Dan Hooker and Beneil Dariush. Everyone else is looking up the rankings. And as they should, they've defended their slots. They've earned their sort of their way there, so they should be looking up. Only the people coming down should be fighting people who are unranked. And Beneil is out since his last fight for a little bit, and Dan Hooker's injured. I know. There is literally no one else who wasn't booked or had just had back to back. So we get this fight out the way, and then we can look at what's next. But the name come up. It's a good fight for me. The guy's very good. Obviously, he just come off a draw against Chris Padilla, which I've seen the fight. I'd actually watched that fight mainly because I thought Chris Padilla's name may have come up, and he's very good. He's just not as good as me. As you look at we talked about the Paddy fight and stuff. So I know for a fact Paddy had actually asked to fight BSD. It wasn't the UFC's matchmaking. They didn't level that. He actually asked if he could fight BSD, which I thought was crazy. But then you look at the Dustin Poirier fight, which would have been after. That's when he started mentioning BSD's name. And Dustin jumped for what, 7 gillies, 8 gillies in 2 rounds. So Benoit St. Denis shoots for an average of 7 takedowns a round. So if you're Paddy Pimblett and you trust your submission defense, you're a very strong guy. He's very, very big. Like, you know that if someone jumps on your neck and you give it 100% and bury into a guillotine, knowing that they're going to defend it and then you can just play, you're already a half a step ahead. It was just easy science for him. And he went out there, he stayed composed. He went the strike in, he waited for the takedown. And if that wasn't their game plan, I'd be very, very surprised.
Yeah. I mean,
It was kind
BSD.
of my bad to cut you off. The odds on this Patty sub were ridiculous, and it was so easy. Like you said, the game planning and just how that fight was going to play out. I didn't see it any other way than Patty grabbing a submission eventually, and the books had it juicy. It was like plus 600. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, go ahead, Mace.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's
But
exactly right.
yeah, for me, it was just like, if you look at the statistics for people, and you look at what they're going to do, I just really thought that Benoit would have had a better game plan than that. Like, for me, I would have approached that fight completely different. Obviously, there's understanding your strengths and understanding other people's strengths, but then there's also understanding that in the first 5 minutes of a fight, shooting takedowns against someone who's going to be it's like fighting Charles Oliveira, and shooting in for a dry takedown in the first couple of seconds, then not expecting him to jump on something is just a bit silly, really. So, not taking away from Paddy did it was such a brilliant game plan, and they sort of it was a perfect night for him. The way everything happened, he stayed tight, stayed composed, blocked the kick, set the takedown up, buried it, switched the grip, and then switched for the Peruvian. And it was a very, very high level finish. Obviously, Luke Riley had the fight as well against Luke Kamkazi. And that was, obviously, I know Rogan said about an early finish, but I thought it was a good finish because he was taking some big shots. Also, the Lona Kavanagh fight, I am devastated Lona lost. I really like Lona, especially. I haven't seen it, but from the highlights and stuff I've seen, I'm pretty sure he dropped Royval twice before he got caught. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah,
To,
dude.
to be honest, go on, Mason. Go
No,
on. Go
Cal,
on. Sorry.
you talk about it. That's your bloke, bro. That fight killed my
Well,
soul, though. I feel the same way.
I've watched Kavanaugh since Cage Warriors days. Absolutely loved him to bits. I think he's one of the cleanest strikers in flyweight, and he's some pop on his shots. Like he hurt him bad in round two, and to be fair to Roy Val kind of threw up a few desperate sub attempts and kind of tied up Kavanaugh. Did well to survive, really, really well. And then round three, it kind of just looked like Kavanaugh got a bit over ambitious again, a bit like the Charles Johnson fight. Started overextending. He got clipped. He caught Royval back then, but then kind of dogfight situation is just it, it's hurting him as bad as it
50-50.
sounds like.
Bro, Roy Val just
Yeah,
drowns people with that volume. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you've never been in a fight like that at that level, like, he will just drown you. Like, that's what it came down to, bro. It was 1-1 going into the third, and it was just like you were feeling the momentum. He was starting to get the takedowns, and you're just like, you're looking at what's his name, Lanier, on the
Lonnie,
stool, and you're just like, oh
Rona.
man, you could see it. You're like, oh, this third round's not going to be a good one, and that's what it was. He smothered him.
Yeah, it is a momentum switch, and like in what people sort of struggle to grasp as well is sometimes is when you're fighting and you get someone hurt, you can empty the tank a little bit early, and obviously you'll refill as you go through the round, but it's really hard because after you empty, you're going to have those next few minutes where you are sort of dragging oxygen in and you're sort of rebuilding. But if you've really pushed too hard for that finish and you've emptied out a little bit too much and they sort of dig deep and you allow them to get that momentum swing and then they start to generate, it's very, very hard all of a sudden is to completely switch it round without something happening. And when you're in a fight against someone like that, you have to keep the momentum going one way, and that's with them on the back foot and them sort of struggling, keep them unstable, keep them at risk and keep them at the end of your shots. And it is very hard to do against high level opponents. And he is fighting like title contenders now. So yeah, I really like Lona. I get on really well with him. I've had a few conversations with him through the years, and he's still really young. So I think he'll bounce back now again, and yeah, we'll see what's next for him.
Dude,
I,
Gable
I
Stevenson. What is your
yeah.
that he didn't even get a takedown in that fight. Mason doesn't even know. He didn't even watch the fights. So we're talking to him he's like
I've seen the
oh
Gable fight. I've seen the
oh
Gable fight.
you did. It didn't take long. A lot of these were quick fights. But dude, he's
That's why
next.
I've seen the full fight.
Got the whole highlight.
Yeah. So Gable's game plan was super smart. Like he was throwing the teep to the groin. It's the bladder it is. So you hit just below the belly button. It's perfectly legal shot, and you just keep flicking that shot. We do it a lot in training. We call it chiseling. We keep chiseling down the stomach. Heavyweights, obviously, you can get away with it because the Gable wasn't worried about the guy catching his foot and trying to take him down at all. There was no worry about that. One, because heavyweights are so big and bulky, especially until you get at the top level and they start getting sort of well. There's probably one or two heavyweights. There's Tom and Cyril Gane, I would really say, are very mobile heavyweights. All the rest of them are either light heavyweights who've moved up and don't really have the power, or they're big clunkers who clunk around. So he was chiseling and chiseling at the stomach, broke him down, and then lined up the backhand. Obviously, just slowly pulling the hands down, and then I seen obviously the backhand went through and basically crucified him.
He's the next champion, bro. He's the next champion. I mean, that obviously, bro, like you said, those two guys that move like him, that's gonna be interesting because that now we're talking about legit athletes with some heavy weight behind them. Those are gonna be such banger fights, bro, when those eventually come. But yo, are you gonna train in California for this next fight?
No, 2 weeks before. That's all. I'll be out 2 weeks before because we're only 6 weeks out now. So I've got some very high level striking sparring here. The Welsh and British team members from the wrestling are through, so I've been doing a bit of work with them. With one or two of the Welsh team boys who also train the British, so I'll do a little bit of work with them. I mean, boxing sparring down lockets and different things again with some of the pros. So to be fair, I'm just going to work that side of things mainly, and then 2 weeks before I'll go out and get some work for the last week. Really, team half mil with some of the boys out there, but it's mainly a lot of people are either injured or away, or they have stuff coming up in team half mil. So I could have gone out earlier, but to be fair, it's just easier for me to do it from home. So August the 5th or 6th, I'm looking at to fly out. So I'll aim to be there for the 6th
Yeah, your boy
latest.
Song is going crazy. He's peaking right now.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, Dong, like Yadong, he had been. I was sort of starting to get back going again after I had a bit of a timeout. Nothing crazy. I just had a bit of a refresh, got a little bit fat, come back. We did a little bit of work, and he had been working with J Flow, and I never worry about going chest judo rise or advanced wrestling as they call it, which is more like the Greco stuff, chest to chest, because I'm really good with my foot suits, my ashies, and the judo stuff. And Song actually threw me, and I was devastated. I was so angry with Song because the bastard managed to catch me. But he's looking so good, so good. I want to see him use it more because he's very talented and very technical. But he reverts to the sort of Gerald Shemet style of I've got a cannon on my backhand. I'm just going to keep trying to hit you with that cannon. If I can't hit you, then I'm going to forget everything else I do because he's very good everywhere. As you've seen with the Figgy guillotine he hit.
That was nasty.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Honestly, I said, "Holy shit!"
That was
So yeah, Yadong is super talented. I still don't believe he's supposed to be. I think he was definitely about 3 years old when they gave him a birth certificate. But yeah, he's peaking now. He's peaking very well.
he's peaking. All right. Well, I mean, you anything else on that card that we should chop it up about? I mean, we don't have to stay on for too long. It's more of just like a little review, and then obviously a check in on our
One
boy.
more,
Which one?
I wanted to
one more.
ask you about. I wanted to ask you about Cage Warriors, actually,
Well,
about the Hardwick fight. What did you think about that one?
wait, before we go to the Hardwick fight, one more I want to ask about was what did you think of the Bobby Green fight? Because there's so many people online saying they thought it was a fix.
I feel like from my opinion, I mean, I've seen Terrence do that multiple times where he just blows his gas tank, and then if he doesn't get the finish, he's done. I mean, like
Empties
the
the
Drew
time.
Dober fight, he was rocking Drew Dober. I mean, we were sitting there. I remember this clearly. I was with Dano, one of our friends. We were coming back. We played college baseball. We're watching this fight on a bus, and we say we saw that Terrence won. And we saw that Terrence lost, and we were like, ah, shit, we saw it, whatever. We'll just go back to the hotel, watch it. And we're watching Terrence beat the crap out of Drew Dober, and we're staring at each other. We know the outcome of this fight, and we still like, how the hell did Drew win this? But sure enough, Terrence gasses out, boom, boom, and it's like his drop off. It's not like he's gassing, wilting. It's done, done.
Yo, you got to get that fight, Mason. We got to get that fight for you.
The Chris Duncan fight was exactly the same, but for some reason, like with the Chris Duncan fight, like he had some shots, and then you've seen him hit Terrence back. Whereas in this fight against Bobby Green, you didn't really see Bobby really land with anything. You've seen him like hit the body once or twice, and then went back upstairs, and he was like low volume, and then he hit him again, and then McKinney just dropped and curled into a ball. Like I didn't really see the impact, so I have to watch that back, zoom it in, and see if I can see anything. Cal, what you said about the Cage Warriors, the Hardwicks, what I thought about that, that's so I like those boys. I do. They're like George and Harry are very, very good boys. They're nice. I've got on with them well. They work with the same nutritionist as me, all that positive stuff. I didn't think he won that fight. I thought he lost.
Yeah,
I didn't score it that way.
I can't understand it. Like, obviously, the whole new scoring system, damage, I get that. But at the end of the day, if your back's against the cage and you're throwing a few knees whilst you're being held, I don't think that's really damage, isn't it? Like, you have to go to your control factor then, I think. And that's kind of the problem with the new criteria, is you're seeing decisions like this happen a bit more regularly.
All I would say is, and this is where I go to. Cage Warriors has always been a platform that's meant to get you into the big leagues. And you don't get into the big leagues by trying to control people in situations. So the fact that they're pushing for more damaging shots and they're rewarding people for trying to finish the opponent, I think as a sport is a better. Whether I agree with that decision or I would have scored it that way, thank God I'm not a ref because I would have got it completely wrong, clearly. But do I sort of understand why they're rewarding people for a different style of fights? 100%. Like, if you look at anyone in the sport of MMA at the moment now, the people who are sort of peaking now are the finishers. They don't want people going out and eking out decisions. Like the whole era of GSP going out and controlling and being in control and being that guy who just like he's always in control, totally dominant, and he'll get the finish, but he's more a control fighter. That's gone now. They literally want you to go out there and they want you to throw kitchen sinks, vending machines, baseball bats, just hit them with everything you can grasp in hand. And they'll reward that. And they will, as long as you win in as well.
That's facts. They got the new ranking system out too. I was hoping that they were gonna shake that thing up and we're gonna see little Mason Jones at like 15 or something, but you got to be
They
close.
don't rate the people I fought yet. They don't really rate the people I fought too much. They go on like there's a weird ranking for the level of the people you fought, and mine's still quite low. So one more win year, and then I'll be scraping on the top of the top. I'll be scraping at the door. Then I think knocking at the door. I'd love to get another fight after that. I've got some names I'd like to fight, but again, all that really matters a minute is walking through my next opponent and putting him away, because for me, it is a troubling fight because he stylistically is a good matchup for me, but it's one of those matchups where if I do it wrong or I get a bit carried away or I let him nip the rounds, then it'll end up like what happened with Chris Padilla, where Chris Padilla looked up like it was 2 rounds up. Then the third round, he sort of coasted a little bit. And they had the minus point, and everyone was like, oh, Chris Padilla's won that easy. And then they give it a majority draw because they would have rewarded it the other way. So it's like, He's very hard to finish. He's very hard to take down. He's very hard to control. I just gonna go out there and just try and put holes in him and sink him like a bad battleship.
Let's fucking go. We're here for it, man. We'll be locking right back in as soon as you get that W. Another bonus, maybe? That'd be nice for the fellas.
My last fight on contract. So one more win and we can look at a new contract. That's all I'm thinking of. I never aim for anything but a finish bonus. There's the 25 G's finish bonus on top of your winning show. That's all I aim for really, is get a nice finish, whether sub or TKO. And that's all I'm going to aim for, is get a finish. And we'll see. If I get a fight of the night bonus or performance bonus, that's amazing. But I much prefer to go out and do what Paddy did and sub a guy in 30 seconds and come out looking like you've just gone down the shops for a pint.
That's facts. You boys got anything else? Will you let this guy off the chain?
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm good too. Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go in, boys. Right, leave it to it. I'm gonna go get some. I gotta get some chicken. Back dieting again, nice, all skinny. I'll see you boys soon.
Thanks
Pleasure. All the best.
Yeah.
Episode 1 in the books. See you next time. Let's go.
Hey. Ambitions is a rider.